There we go.
Figure it out.
Yep, we're live. Be careful.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, guys. So I am so sorry. I think we're good.
Yeah, that looks like it's set live.
And let me see if I can share this because I'm gonna get blown up on Facebook and everything, saying that.
We're late.
Yeah. Well, no, we're that blowing up people's.
Yeah.
So.
The notifications.
And then let me just do one more thing. Okay. We have completely no viewers because I've confused everybody because of all the stream issues. So
Yeah.
I apologize to everybody about the really lateness that we had a lot of issues. Hopefully people come back. Not sure what exactly happened. But we had some issues with, I'm getting text messages from everybody saying what's going on. But we're here, so I apologize to everybody. I guess, all right, we got 3 people on now, so thank you for coming back. I apologize for everything. Had some major issues. I'm thinking that the audio is working. Yep, the audio is working. All right.
Who are you gonna call?
Somebody that knows how to run a channel and not me. No, Suburban Astronomer. No, it was. We had some issues, and I apologize about that. We were starting really late today, so wow, that was crazy. Anyway,
must be what my dad feels like. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
bad.
Cold.
It's pretty bad, yeah. So you know what? I'll even put the titles up for you. There you go. So I'll put some titles up for you.
Hey.
First of all, well, thank you for everybody for showing up tonight. It is definitely a challenging night tonight. So thank you for everybody that's coming. So tonight I was thinking about, and Scott doesn't even know what I was thinking about. I guess he saw it on the title, but I was thinking about calibration frames. I was just about waiting for the sun to go and collimate polar light. Yeah. Actually, I was going to try to get out there and before the show started, but I've been working with the last hour trying to get everything together, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to start in a second. So, but anyway, talking about calibration frames. So I had an issue. So there's some calibration frames that you got to take in order to come out with a decent image, and they are darks, flats, bias, and or flat darks or dark flats, whichever one you decide to call it. Are you there, Scott?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. So I had an issue, and if I could do this without messing it up, I could share my screen with you real quick. And where is it? Screen share? There's too many looks here. Desktop capture. All right. So this is PixInsight. Can we all see that? And I think we're good. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So PixInsight, and what I did was, and I'll open. I'll show you what a bad dark looks like first, because I had an issue. with dark frames. And I know, I think you and I were talking about, Scott.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Your light leak.
yeah, so
Yeah.
here is a bad dark. I think any one of these will work. And if you stretch it, actually, that's a good dark. That's the good dark.
Hmm. I was gonna say, where's the leak?
That's a good dark. And we'll do open. I might have erased them. Did I erase them? Don't tell me I erased them.
Maybe.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a good dark. Stretch the same way. That's a bad dark. See how bright it is?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It's crazy. So apparently I had a shutter. I have an S-Big camera, and I have a shutter that's mechanical. It apparently did not close all the way, and so I got a whole bunch of light in. I was doing it during the daytime, and I had everything closed up, and I put a pair of pants leg over my telescope and my camera, and unfortunately, this is what you get. So when you take a look at what you get now, when you try and calibrate your flats with a dark that looks like that, let's see if I can show you. File open.
It's gonna be bad.
Oh, it's gonna be real bad. And where is it? It's under processing. And okay, no, here you go. It's a master dark. That's it, right? Yeah, that's a bad dark. You see, I tried it so many different times, and I'll show you what the first picture looked like. And this is M3. And that's what it looked like. Dust mode there. Whole big flat issues.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a big stretch. So it looked like garbage. So I'm like, what's going on? So I took all new darks and all new flats. And if we look at the last one, I went all the way up to G. And we'll do the same stretch. Okay. No dust mode. It's a super stretch. But let's go to a regular stretch. And look at the difference.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt.
So it's really important to take good calibration frames in order to kind of... And this is just some amp glow up here that it didn't get out. But it's really interesting on how much bad calibration frames can really get under your skin a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm just looking for, let's see, dark bag. Ah, yes.
What's that?
I was just going to, changing bag. So Adorama has on their website they're calling a large changing bag, 27 by 30 for bulk load filming. This is a blackout bag, and you can take a bag like this and put it over your camera, and a couple of large rubber bands or bungee cord or something, bungee it in, and that will black out your camera completely. That's one option if you have problems with darks, but this is a very cheap option. It's only $20 on Adorama, and so it's just an option.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought I had that solved with my pants leg. It was thermal. It was a thermal pants, so it was thick. It
Yep.
was dark in there. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
It's really important. So let's talk a little bit about dark frames and what dark frames do for you. So dark frames are basically a picture, and it is the same length, possibly could be longer than your light frames, um, and at the same temperature. And what it does is it takes a picture of the thermal noise created by the electronics in your camera. And what that does, through mathematics and stacking, you could actually minus out all of the hot pixels, cold pixels, and thermal noise that you have that's inherent to everybody's sensor and everybody's electronics in the camera. And it's different at every degree of temperature, and every chip is completely different. So you want to make sure that you take good dark frames to get rid of that.
Yep. Yep. Not terribly difficult to do, just a little time consuming.
Yeah, yeah. And the reason why I say you could take it longer, as long as your dark is longer than your light exposures, you could actually take advantage of something called optimizing your darks in PixInsight. And what that will do is, let's say if you have a 10-minute master dark, but you're only taking 1 minute exposures,
Yep.
PixInsight will scale down the noise to fit a 1 minute exposure as long as the temperatures are the same.
Same. Yeah.
It's got to be the same. So you can do that. Now there's people that like doing that, people that don't like doing that. It's really up to you and what works for you. But I sit there and I just do 600-second darks and scale it down and I'm done with it.
Yep.
So that could definitely work for you. As far as flat frames are concerned, flat frames are taken with a light panel, shining light through your image train and brightening up all the uneven illumination that you may have, plus all your dust motes, fingerprints, dirt, and whatever. And you could take out all that stuff by using proper flats. And that one, just like you saw with the dust mote in one, it was gone. It's because the flats were better.
Yep.
So if
I'm
you
pulling
take a
up
look,
picture.
let's see if I could.
Pulling up a picture of what that actually looks like on my setup. So when
What's that?
what you're doing there, Dan? What an actual flat
Yeah,
frame picture looks like. Not the picture, but the setup. Excuse me, the setup.
with the panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm currently not using a panel. Not a typical panel. But I'll show you. I'll put the picture up and
yeah, no
take
problem.
take a peek at it.
And let's see. So when you take a look at the image that I had here, you see right over here this nice dust mote right here. Nice big one. If I do a bigger stretch, whoops, sorry. Actually, you can't see it anymore, but there is one over here. But you see, this is done in PixInsight, and it didn't get that one out. Over here, same picture, because my flat frames were better at a better ADU and a better brightness. It was able to take out that that dust mote. So it divides it out, and it does a better job. So just make sure that if you have a CMOS camera, somewhere between 24 and I think 27 ADU 1000.
Yep.
And then with my CCD camera, something a little bit closer to half histogram, it works a little bit better. So I'm shooting it at about 30,000 ADU on mine. What do you got there, Scott?
I just wanted to show people an option that they had instead of using the t-shirt method. This is something that is another option for people that I think is pretty ingenious. Before I do that though, let me just show you this picture real quick here. I don't know how if I'm going to be able to share this screen or if you need to enable it for me, Dan. But I'm
No,
trying
you
to
should be
share.
able to.
Okay, so it's going. Okay. Yeah, I've got the mirrored effect on this. Do I need to do something different?
Let me see. Let me just make it bigger.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's you.
How do I stop that duplicating effect?
Well, you gotta go
I
to
gotta
go
go
to.
to a different.
There you go.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, so here, right here, there's. Can you see that? Okay.
More or less.
Okay, well, what you're looking at there is a color corrected LED panel that I have a uh, it is a photographic hood that is meant to go over a stretchy hood that's meant to go over a flash instead of using the t-shirt method, which is what you see down here on the OTA. And the OTA that's being held in by my dew heater strip, and that's just a white t-shirt, right? So the one that's above it is um, the stretchable
The
uh,
diffuser.
diffuser, exactly right. And those are also Adorama B&H. They're like $20. You get an you can get them 18 inch. You can get them, I think, 2 foot. You can get them, pretty good size. And they go really small as well. So let me see if I can back out of this. Stop. There we go. Okay. I quit sharing the screen. But this here is the diffuser. And as you can see, it's just got a nice sewn in elastic. And it works fairly well.
Nice.
And it just stretches over your element, or this one will actually just fit right over the front of my OTA and provide some nice, even light distribution across the corrector plate. So instead of using, one of these. So, and you can the nice thing about these is that I think this stops, it's either 1 or 1.5 stops of light. I think it is each one of these. So you can stack them. So you can put multiples, and you just stretch them over. And if you don't have, a panel light, an actual light panel, that's meant to sit on top of an OTA like that, this is an option. And works pretty well. It's not terrible. A lot of people have a hard time justifying $600 for a panel.
Hey. Right now I have. I only spent about $250 on mine. And I'm sorry if I'm moving in and back. I apologize about the camera views right now. Just trying to get used to some things here. It's been a bad technology night, it seems. So right now I'm attempting to image while I'm talking on the show, because now, of course, let's see, why is this is so funny. Okay, is it me, or is Sequence Generator Pro acting funky all of a sudden?
Personally, I wouldn't know because I haven't been able to use it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm still waiting on a mount.
Yeah, well, I gotta try and turn everything on here. And my focuser, my mount, everything's working. And manual rotator, yes. Manual rotator, yes. Okay. And we're gonna do RGB and luminance and blue RGB. Why'd that do that? flat, blue light. There you go.
Yeah,
And run the
I
sequence.
I understand, Suburban, that that Nina is a lot of people enjoy it. They like the interface that Nina has. Um, I think it's very similar to SGP. Um, it's just Nina, I think, has a free version. You know, I
All
think
right,
that
I'm
doesn't Nina
rolling.
have a paid version, Dan?
Nina?
Yeah,
No, Nina's all free.
it is. It's
Yep.
all open source free. Nice,
Yep.
nice.
And I can go back to going on the show now. There we go. So yeah, so I had an issue where one of my sequences just went corrupt, and it just disappeared. It just went crazy. Um, no, yeah, no, it's not open source. No, Nina is not open source, but it's more of, I guess, an in your face kind of.
Did I say open source?
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
did.
I meant freeware. I
Yeah,
meant
it's
freeware.
freeware.
My
It's
bad.
freeware. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not open source, but um, it's a lot more user friendly, I think, and not as functional as Sequence Generator Pro, but does everything you need to do. Um, but it works really well. Unfortunately, I can't use it because of my camera. My camera is not compatible with Nina. But it works really well. I've used it with who's texting me? Tom.
Yeah, Wade is saying it's not similar at all. I
And
wouldn't know. I've never used
no,
Nina.
it's not. It's more. I guess it's more similar to ASI Air
Mm.
as far as the way it works. Because it's kind of like it's like a drop down. Okay, I want to do this. I want to do that. There's no user profiles that you got to apply profiles and all like Sequence Generator Pro does. But it's more of like, okay, what camera drop down, what guide camera drop down, what this drop down, and it's all loaded up there for you. But it's a little bit more free moving, I guess, as opposed to if you make a change to a profile, you got to stop. You got to apply profile sequence. You got to restart the sequence. You got to do a whole bunch of stuff with Sequence Generator Pro. But and of course I'm having issues now focusing. And of course, it never fails. The first run, it just doesn't. It just doesn't
Well, I
want to work.
definitely feel your pain.
Yep.
I was having a devil of a time. Well, he's trying to figure out his focusing there.
Yeah.
I can
I
tell
gotta
you
put
that
you on full
I was
screen.
having a devil of a time. Getting the focusing to work on the C14. I had a Feather Touch Micro 20 in there, and a great focuser. But I had attempted to connect the ZWO, um, you know, autofocuser to the Feather Touch, and it had this. The only way I can describe it is that it's kind of like a flexible cylinder that it basically took up any extra stresses that the motor might have put on the focuser,
Yeah.
and the flexing of that, it just wreaked havoc with the focus. It was just a nightmare, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it didn't. More often than not, it didn't work. And I just got to the point where I'm thinking, all right, I need to cut my losses and move on. And that's when we made the decision to go full Feather Touch, And
Yep.
and once I got the Feather Touch dialed in, and figured out some of the settings within the ASCOM drivers and syncing it with Sequence Generator Pro, it was predictable every
Yeah.
time, every time, every time, every time. Nice deep bell curve every time. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Worked like a charm.
It's definitely nice when you got a good focuser because
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you got that specificity of what why is this doing this to me tonight?
Yeah. I'm not sure if Wade is asking me or you. He's saying which
It's
camera.
probably
you're
me because
using.
I said my camera isn't compatible. I have an S big.
Oh.
camera that's not compatible
Yep.
to.
Yeah. It's a CCD camera. Wait.
Yep. Unfortunately, I cannot take advantage
Yeah.
of Nina. So you will not be seeing me doing any Nina um, videos.
Yeah.
So
We gotta get a GoFundMe for Dan to get the new 2600 mono.
yeah, okay. Okay. I'm just trying settings. Luminance.
Prism.
Blue. Okay, now I'm just let's
Prism
see if this works.
he's saying Wade is saying Prism.
Yeah,
Is that an
Prism could
alternative?
work. Prism could work.
Prism. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people that have it, so I don't have a lot of experience with it. So I'm comfortable with Sequence Generator Pro right now. It's just giving me an issue right now, unfortunately. But
We got Gremlins tonight, man.
I got gremlins all night. I don't know. I'm gonna have to reboot my entire computer.
Phew. You mean the Eagle?
I got to reboot everything.
Uh,
This is just not working for me.
yeah. Um, but good calibration frames are definitely a necessary, part of what we do. Um, you're especially when you're dealing with, rigs and things where you're opening up the rig to the air, and getting dust motes and things. Light frames are just,
Yeah,
or not lights, flats. Excuse me.
flats.
Flats are just absolutely necessary.
Yeah,
And,
I can tell you. I mean, even the picture behind me, um, I couldn't have taken this without good flats, and the flats are so important. They're so important. Um, Wade's asking me the 8300 monochrome I'm using, Wade, but the STF. Sorry, not the STT. But yeah, so wow, I'm still trying to get caught up with all the issues, and my brain is not working well tonight. so so I apologize about this. Usually I'm a little bit more on my game tonight, guys. So I apologize. Um, the Eagle is
well, the other thing, while Dan is doing a little fiddle work there
yep.
with his rig, one of the other things that we've been talking about doing more and more of is merchandising for the channel, and we're also doing some independent astrographics for T-shirts, kind of like not to hit too hard, the Ghostbusters thing, but that kind of graphic on a T-shirt. And as we get closer to the end of the show, I've got a couple of images that my wife has done up, some graphics, some nice cartoony things that are whimsical and fun, meant to go on a T-shirt, and it's just for the astro crazy in your life,
Yeah.
be that you or somebody that you love, and so a couple of interesting ones, and I'd also like to put it out there for people to. If you have an idea for a whimsical, or even even if you want to go serious, as far as
Are you serious?
a design, yeah, why so serious? Right? But an image for the shirt, for a shirt, and graphic design. And my wife is an absolutely brilliant graphic designer, and she's doing more and more stuff like that. We of course built the logo for AstroWorld, and we're going to be doing other things as well. And so, but we're opening it up to people that would like to submit ideas, and we'll take that under advisement with the guys, and ones that really kind of stand out. We'll see about creating them. And
Yeah.
I'll give you towards the end of the show, I'll give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. I've already got them loaded up. I just need to share the screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, we can do it towards the end of the show.
It's almost the end of the show.
Oh, are we really?
No. I just it's just been half an
Oh yeah,
hour
no, it's
of.
only not. Yeah, we've only been going a half hour. I was gonna say, my gosh, time flies, really.
Yeah, because of course, I'm having issues tonight. Um,
So to put it out there for other people that are out shooting, what are some of the targets that you guys are going for? And,
yeah,
and other issues maybe that you're having with some of those targets, and um, where you're located, Bortle class, so on and so forth, and um, things that are near and dear to your heart, or questions that you might have.
well, we just had a question regarding flats. What is the best
Yep.
ADU value using a flat panel? So it really depends on the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a
so
calculator out there that you can get for that, right?
yeah, there is. But I mean, if you're using a ZWO or an ASI camera, CMOS, um, most people have found somewhere between 24 and 27,000 ADU works pretty well. Um, and then, for me, I spoke a little bit before about CCD. With my particular camera, somewhere around 30, 31,000 seems to work good for me. Yeah, 1600 MC. Yeah, probably about 24 to 26,000 would probably work fine for you.
Yep. And that value. You can achieve that value by opening up the Flat Wizard in. Um, oh, geez, Daniel, help me. That went right out of my
Sequence
head.
generator?
Flat Wizard, yeah.
Yeah, the flats was it? Yep.
Yep. And then you can, it'll tell you what your current ADU level is, and you can make adjustments to your panel accordingly. Um, some like the panel that I'm using, what I'm lighting myself right now with is a color corrected LED, and it's dimmable, so I can adjust how bright it is, and if I need to, I can stretch another you know diffuser over it, to kind of get to that level. But
Yeah, so yeah, usually 50% will be okay. I know that some of the whatchamacallit, the ASIs like it a little bit lower than 50%, usually about 40%.
40.
But I mean, it's definitely from what I've seen, I know I have a lot of friends that have the 1600, and 24 to 26 seems to be pretty good. So um, try that out. See what you got. If you
Yep.
use the Flat Wizard and Nina, it'll do it at 50% automatically from what Suburban Astronomer says. But you're really going to have to judge your flats to your own camera. But again, it doesn't have to be super specific. But you want to have enough light and enough variance in there to show your dust motes and if you have any vignetting in the corners and all that. Also, Sequence Generator Pro also has a very similar flats wizard, just like Scott was talking about. Um, and that being said, you could actually put your ADU number in there. If you want 24,000, it'll shoot to plus or minus 24,000, plus or minus whatever you put in there, like 500 ADU you could use, and then that will work. So
Yeah, and if you're going to go with like an Artesky flat panel,
mm-hmm.
it is Artesky, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. They have a USB version that'll plug right into your computer, and you can dial the panel into a very
Yep.
specific ADU level, which is really nice. That's why those panels cost what they cost.
Yeah,
You know.
and you know what? Even there's a bunch of them that are capable of that now. They're coming out with a bunch more. I know Pegasus Astro Flatmaster
Yep. Yep.
has
Yep.
it. The big one, um, the what about Spica Flat? Um,
Yep.
that also has USB, and they're all ASCOM compatible, so you could make the changes to your brightness just like Scott's saying right through your computer interface. So that's actually
Yep.
kind of cool. You don't have to run in and out. I got to run in and outside with a dial, but
Yeah.
and I think I got my problem sorted out.
Yeah, Salman Salman was saying that I already using the Arteski flat panel with Flat Wizard with Nina and used to work. It used to work well, but now having issues, so I'm doing it manually. Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
And you got that manually to fall back on.
yeah. I have a flat panel that I'm using. It's from Lacerta, and I have this knob. And that's all I do. I just go there,
Yep,
and once I get close to about 31,000, then I'll adjust the exposure to get to where I want.
yep.
And I think I'm
Yep.
kind of maybe
As
not.
long as it's, I mean, as long as it is pulling the undesirable aspects, of your the image train out,
Right.
then you're good.
Yep.
As long as it's pulling those out, that's what you're looking for. You know, um, we have a thing in um, construction. Especially when we were installing kitchens and things. You'd taken these beautiful square cabinets and trying to put them into walls that are less than square. So we're always running scribes. To
Yeah.
make things work. So it's similar with what you're doing here. If it's taking the stuff out, chalk it up to good and keep processing.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Of course, I got a cloud coming through right now. This is just. We just have
Of
these
course you
nights,
do.
guys. We just have these nights where things just don't work for us, and it's crazy. Um, I think people overthink calibration sometimes, especially in flats. Yeah, but you can't underestimate flats as well. We got
Yeah.
no, Dan. You count. I'm watching you. I'm sorry. You're there. Chris wants to know what is cosmetic correction and when does it need to be used. Well, that's interesting. Um, so, do you know anything about cosmetic correction there?
Well, I mean, in regular landscape or portrait photography, cosmetic correction is removing a zit or removing a mote from your lens. I'm not sure if that's what he's getting at. If there's a problem that's actually in the image train. Or if it is something that's actually in your target that you want to change. Like you don't necessarily like the true color of the galaxy. You want to make the galaxy bright neon green. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what he's talking
No,
about.
yeah.
But
So, cosmetic correction, as far as what I know of it, and so cosmetic correction really is made. You can make something called a bad defect map with it, and it's really based to be. The cosmetic correction is made to do with columns or rows that are incorrect or not working in your camera, that you could get rid of it, or hot a lot. If you have a lot of hot pixels and you want to get rid of them, you can make what's called a bad defect map, and you could save that map and you could put that into PixInsight. And so what it'll do is it'll if you have a bad column, it
yep,
will make that column an average of the pixels around it, so you don't have this line going through your image.
yeah,
And that's what, and so if you're finding that you have, and I have a couple of bad columns that I have to take out, and I do use cosmetic correction, so I'll place that into PixInsight in WPPP, and I'll take that file and I'll dump that in there, so that as it stacks, it will correct for the bad columns and bad rows that I have. So you really should use it with pretty much every camera to some extent, but it'll make a difference in your frames as it gets stacked. So some cameras, especially, use different electronics for short exposures versus long exposures. Um, so you may need to set your exposures to a minimum of 2 seconds and lower the brightness of the flat panel until you get to the right combination. Or if you're using DSLR, you could go, I believe, to aperture mode, if I remember,
Hmm.
and that will automatically grab a 50% histogram, and it'll just fire them off.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you can definitely do that with the different modes, the aperture mode in DSLR.
Let me see. What I don't want an auto stretch. None. Well, all right. I got my first shot here. I think. Is this? Oh, it's a plate off shot. That's not even a first shot. It's doing my auto guiding. All right. Doing the calibration. And you know what? I'll show you. If any of you haven't seen multi-star guiding yet, and I know it's kind of old news at this point, but it's kind of cool. And where's my? I got to get out of this so I could show you.
Came with the one of the last updates for PhD2.
Yep. And quick play.
Yep. Selectable.
And great, my desktop capture's not working. That's awesome. It just doesn't end. It just doesn't end
Yep.
tonight.
You just went black.
Yeah, I'll just change everybody back. And I'm not sure why none of my stuff is working tonight. It's just...
Well...
It's torture.
Yeah.
It was working 2 seconds ago. It was just showing pictures.
Yeah, technical issues. Never fails.
And now I'm just messing around. Let's see. Unbelievable.
Trying to share a screen.
I was attempting to, but I guess I'm not now.
Yeah, it's a little easier for me.
No, it's actually pretty easy for me too, but it's just like...
Now it won't work.
No, it's not working. Let's see if I could just add a new input. Video. No. Image, photos.
We're up to 10 people watching now.
How you doing, everybody? We're just having some issues tonight. Video display? No. Video?
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, my desktop capture is not working now. So. Triggers, latest. I'm so done. I need something easier. I think we should have just went to Zoom meetings. It was so much easier.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. It's just it's a learning process, you know. You got to remember, Jason's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, I know. I need more practice. Need more practice, guys. So yeah, so right now I am imaging just as I believe Suburban Astronomer is doing. I'm doing Markarian's chain as well. And let's see, my first picture should be done. And I would love, nope, it's still doing the calibration on the guider. Great. So knowing my luck tonight, it's going to be behind the tree by the time my guiding is done calibrating, and I'll have to move to another target. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Never fails.
So flats. We didn't really talk about bias. We didn't talk about bias at all, or flat darks. So flat darks and bias. Bias, I can talk to bias a little bit. So bias for CCD cameras, at least, which is what I have, is basically the read noise that you have in your registers as your electrons and your photons are moved from the sensor out to either USB or whatever off the sensor, CMOS is a little bit different. Basically, they have they got registers that get filled up with electrons, and as the register drops to like a channel where it moves the electrons out, that creates read noise at a lot lower level than a CCD camera. For example, my CCD camera is 9.3 electrons of read noise, which is quite a bit. Most CMOS cameras are under 2. Some of them are under 1 electrons. So you could take a picture of that, and you could take that information, and because that's more noise that's inserted into your photo, especially when you're doing long-term astrophotography and stuff like that, you could actually take that information and dump it into the stacking process and delete that information from your final light, your calibrated light.
Yeah.
So when you take out the read noise, when you take out the thermal noise, if you're like Chris who does cosmetic correction and take out some big columns or extra hot pixels and stuff like that, making a defect map, when you're taking away all the vignetting and issues like that, you're going to come along with a lot nicer starting point than you would from not having taken any calibration frames and looking like the picture that I showed you in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, the nice thing about the bias frames too is that they don't take hardly any time to capture. It's not like dark frames. Darks can take, my God, 8 hours, 8.5 hours, to do 50 frames at 600 seconds.
Yep.
I mean, that's a long haul.
Yeah, but bias frames are cheap. I call them cheap. They're cheap because it's less time. Flats are cheap. Also, darks.
Yep, fast.
Darks are a pain, but you gotta do them. You gotta do them, and it's very important. And that's why I tell anybody that for those of you who don't know, I do work for Camera Concepts 1 day a week. It's like my fun job. It pays for the hobby, so I don't get divorced. But it's super important that in New York we have so little observing or imaging nights in New York on Long Island with the cruddy weather. I would hate to take the time out of that imaging time that we have and have to take pictures of nothing. Just because it's got to be the same temperature, and so you're gonna have to. If you don't have a cool camera, you're gonna have to take those darks the same night as your lights usually, and it takes away half your observing time. And it's just a mess. What do you think about that, Scott?
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the big arguments for investing in a cooled camera. Having a good even just a one-shot color cooled camera. Spend $1,000. $1,200, whatever, on a 294. And but that it will dramatically reduce the time that you do calibration frames because you've got a cool camera.
Yeah.
And so. And there are ways to keep that camera dark. You can do that. I mean, I've heard people putting their DSLRs in the fridge and such, to keep them cold and dark. I personally have never done that.
I have.
But yeah, and I know people that do that. But it is vitally important that you have those calibration frames, and a cool camera just makes it that much easier.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
so,
Solomon actually asked a question
too.
about PhD too. How often do you perform calibration? I have not calibrated in quite a while, greater than 6 months, and guiding is excellent with 0.5 to 0.7 and shooting from the same location.
If it's not busted, don't fix it.
I agree. I'm a little crazy because I move my telescope, even though I'm on a pier, I kind of pull it off and pull it back on, and And so whenever I move to a different, if I move to a different point of the sky, I redo calibration. Just because I'm a little crazy, but I'm telling you this: if you're getting point 0.5 to point 0.7
Yeah,
consistently,
you're fine.
don't change anything.
No,
Don't
don't
even
screw it.
bother.
Don't screw it up by trying to overthink it.
Yep. I mean, I could
Leave it
probably,
alone.
yeah, I could probably get away with not calibrating every time. I calibrate every time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it takes what, 5 minutes? But if you don't have to, if you're getting great guiding and your stars are good, there's no reason
yeah,
to change what you're doing.
yeah. And guiding, a lot of guiding is dependent on the quality of your mount. You know,
Yeah,
if you've got a really inexpensive mount and you've got a 40-pound telescope sitting on that mount,
yeah,
you might be having some issues.
you might.
you know, but you know, this has been an ongoing thing that I've been having with a group that I'm a part of in Facebook for Celestron 11 C11 owners. It's basically C11 and C14 owners, but and they're talking about mounts and this and that. I'm like, well, you know what? Here's the thing. The Celestron will sell you the C14 on a CGXL,
Yeah.
and it's fine if you don't
Anything
put a
else?
lot of stuff on the
Yeah.
telescope. It's fine. But let me tell you something. You throw a nice big image train in there with precise parts, an MOAG, a camera, a focal reducer, and then on top of the scope you put an eagle, you put a guide scope, you know, you, trust me,
It adds
you're
up.
over that 75 pounds.
Yeah,
I
it adds
know.
up quick.
And so I tell people, if you're going to be doing a lot of imaging with the C11, put it on the CGXL.
Yeah.
Put it
Yep.
on the XL. Don't go with the regular CG.
Yep.
The CGX. Don't do it, because the likelihood of you going over, it's probably better. Now, Dan, you can probably speak to this as well, but in my estimation, it's better to be 10 to 15% underweight. The limit. So if the max
For
weight
imaging?
for the mount, yeah, my mount is 75 pounds. I don't want to be at 74 pounds.
No, I mean, if you're
I
at
want to be at
75
60
pounds,
pounds.
I would say under 60. I would say probably
Yeah,
about 55
yeah. And
or
the
lower.
problem is that the problem is that the OTA weighs 55 pounds naked.
Yeah, well, again, to Wade's point, and Wade made a point on that it's probably fine for visual, and it
Yeah,
probably is.
yeah,
That's not a problem.
yeah,
But when
yep,
you're dealing with that focal length and you need to guide with that, you're gonna put some. You're gonna put those
hmm
gears to the test. I'll tell you that right now.
yep,
So
yep,
it's gonna be hard. Yeah, put it on an MX. If you have a place to put an MX, grab it, or a Mighty,
yep,
grab it. Or if
yep.
you get one of those
10 micron.
lovely rainbow Astro mounts
hmm
for $8,000 that you could if you could afford that, and it only weighs about 3 pounds and it takes up to like
Well,
80.
not quite.
But it does about 5 times its weight, I think, if I
Yeah,
remember right.
yeah. It's
So it
crazy.
weighs about 20 pounds and it can carry up
Yeah,
to 100 with counterweights. And I'm throwing out some
yeah,
numbers out there. I'm sure it's not 100%
yeah,
accurate, but it's pretty close.
yeah. Yeah, I
And
think the max on the RST 300 is 110 pounds, 50
yeah,
kilos,
yep. So I mean
and it
that's
weighs 18 kilos.
yeah. So
So,
I mean
yeah,
that's crazy. So all those are what's called harmonic drive mounts, and they're made to
yep.
be weightless, and it's really really cool on how this thing kind of works with the teeth and the elliptical
Oh yeah,
piece inside. It's pretty wild,
yep.
but
Yeah.
it's
At
super
any one
accurate.
time, that the teeth engaged, 30% of the teeth are engaged at any one time, which is crazy. I mean, if you look at any other mount, worm driven, you got a big gear right here,
Yep.
and you got a little tiny worm that sits down here, and so you got maybe 5% of the teeth engaged if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yep. But
So
hey, it's really really cool. but as far as I can't stress the beginning of the show, the calibration frames, and I wish I could show
Oh
it
yeah.
again. I'm so annoyed that my computer's not working the way it should. But you know, getting those dust motes out. You could, yeah, sure, you could crop out some things, but why crop out that nice field if you don't have to? If you could minus out that one dust mote that's ruining the entire picture, hopefully it's on an edge and not
Yeah.
towards the center or whatever you're shooting at. But
Yeah.
take the flats, take the flat darks, take the bias, take the dark frames, and just calibrate your images, and you'll be a lot happier. I wish that I did for a long time. I didn't do flats. I did darks. I did bias. Actually, I didn't even do bias. I just did darks, and I got so annoyed that the pictures weren't coming out great. I said, let me just try flats. So I did the T-shirt method and whatever, and and before and all of a sudden I was like, I'm really like shocked that I didn't start doing this from the beginning, because I wasted about 2 years of images, and
Yeah.
that are basically in my bad data folder now.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's really quite interesting on how we all kind of go through this kind of pattern of just doing things the wrong way until we get the aha moment, and we're like, I should have done this to start.
Yeah, and I mean, to dovetail into on what Dan is talking about, the importance of remaining and being teachable in this. The rabbit hole on this hobby is so deep, and I'm not just talking about monetarily. That's a whole nother issue. I'm talking about the learning base, the knowledge
Mental.
base. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. That if you're willing to pocket your pride and become a good student, you know, and really learn. That was one of the things that I made up my mind early on, that I was going to surround myself with a bunch of guys that really knew what they were doing, and I was just going to be a sponge.
So I
And
don't know why you're
soak it
hanging
in.
out with me, because I have no clue what the hell I'm doing. So,
Yeah, Captain Humility over here.
Captain Hungry. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're all the same way, and I could echo that. When I started doing astronomy 25 years ago, there wasn't the YouTube or the
Oh,
whatever, some sort of stuff like, and you were trying to learn yourself, and hopefully you can find somebody that knows what they're doing. But you'd be surprised how many people out there are like the like master chefs that just don't want to
mhm.
tell any of their secrets. And it's not that they don't want to show you, just some people don't want to show you too much.
Mhm.
you know,
The
you know.
magicians revealing their
Yeah,
secrets.
so so it's good that we have this medium now that we could actually share similar experiences on this. I've done that, Wade. I, the old what is it, the PlayStation
Oh my gosh,
joystick,
yeah, with a joystick. Yeah.
or actually if you were sitting there with the one of the Atari 2600 sticks with the
Mhm.
orange button.
That's what
But
Edwin Hubble had to do when he was first starting out in at the Mount Wilson Observatory. He had to manually guide
yeah,
on his star. And
yeah,
they those astronomers, those guys, let me tell you something. We got it easy.
yeah.
Okay, those guys, you talk about dyed in the wool, you talk about committed to their craft. They would sit there for dozens and dozens and dozens of nights and just, guide on stars
Yeah,
and capturing data, on silver halide plates, and there was no digital, there was no, I mean, and some of the work that came out of that is just, they are to what astronomy is and astrophotography is to what Ansel Adams is Ansel Adams is to us landscape photographers. The
absolutely.
man was a genius. You know, and I still learn from Ansel Adams. His devotion to his craft was phenomenal.
Yeah, many people don't know who Ansel Adams is, so I would just say
Oh, Google it.
yeah, take a look at his landscape photography. It's just
Oh,
ridiculous. My,
The man was he was incredible.
my mother was a big fan. Actually, she has an original somewhere.
Mhm.
But
Yep. The man did all of his processing literally in an enlarger. He did dodging and burning, under an enlarger, and I mean, we have it so easy in with electronic, with Lightroom and other, software applications and things. We got it so easy. Some of the work that these guys did, it was groundbreaking.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, right now, of course, I got clouds coming through now, but it just seems like tonight is not the night to be doing this for me. I'm gonna pause sequence right now because I'm not gonna take any more images right now until the clouds disappear. So I'm gonna pause sequence,
There
and
you
we'll
go.
abort the current one. There we go. So yeah, so we're coming up on 9:30. We're coming up on an hour, I think, and we finally
Hmm.
made it to an hour.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
Yep.
it was a trying show.
Yep. And um, I can take a second to show you some of the graphics
Yeah,
that my
yeah.
wife has put together, and you guys have also seen the new logo that we did for AstroWorld, and I'm assuming that most people like it. I mean, we haven't heard anything where people have said they didn't like it. I think most people enjoyed the new logo, and I'm very glad to hear that. So,
Yeah, me
but
too.
let's just go ahead and do a screen share here, and just let me know when it comes. Is it coming up now?
You're up.
Okay, there's the,
I'm gonna make it.
and Dan has not seen these. All right, so this is new to him as well. All right,
That's funny.
you like that one?
That's good.
Yeah, that's all hand drawn by my wife, and we'll put these up for sale as well for T-shirts and such. So we got this one, and then the next one is this one. If I can get to it, let's see. Can I get to it? There it is.
Nice.
So,
That's cool.
and again, these are kind of drafts, and but I think they'd be kind of fun to have on shirts, and uh, so again, I would very much welcome ideas, people that have ideas, for T-shirt design, and we would like to
Yeah,
we'd like to be able to do that. So let me
that's
just
cool.
close out of that. So.
All right. So, just as a final say, so for those of you who have um, donated to the Southern Sky Challenge, just so you know, you did receive an email. If you didn't, let me know. But 2 days. So we got 2 days left.
Mhm.
I know we got some. Um, I believe we got 5 people that have submitted their image for the contest. So I think that's we had about 13 people that donated. We had about 6+ hours on the Tarantula Nebula. So we got some outstanding people that actually donated but haven't submitted anything. So get your submissions in. So you'll be we could judge you next week and hopefully give out some nice prizes.
It's
Hey,
like
Eric showed up.
Eric, yeah, 11th hour there, buddy.
Eric
11th
showed up. Yeah,
hour.
we got 2 minutes left. Wade, the contest was if you donated to AstroWorld with all the proceeds went to data acquisition through a not iTelescope telescope live. We were getting data on the Tarantula Nebula, and we got about 7 hours, 6 hours of data So whoever came out with the best picture, we have first prize. You get 1 hour tutorial with Ron Breacher, and $100 gift certificate to Camera Concepts. Second prize is a $100 gift certificate to Explore Scientific. And third prize is a standalone 1 hour tutorial with Ron Breacher. So that being said, there's some cool stuff out there, and yeah, that's why it's called the Southern Sky Challenge, and we're going to be starting up the next one. I believe we're going to be starting to take donations on May 1st. And we're going to be looking on getting Edda Karine, and see what people can do with that. That's going to be pretty cool.
Nice. Beautiful target.
Yeah. Does Wednesday work? What do you mean, does Wednesday work? Oh.
This scope is the one in Chile?
Yeah, we're using one in Chile. It is a... what is it? 2,000
is
millimeter Ritchie Crichton, I think. I'd have to look at it. They have so many different telescopes. I forget which one we kind of decided on for that object. I think it was, or maybe it was the F5 Newt that they had.
It's a 2-meter mirror?
What's that?
A 2-meter mirror?
No.
2,000 millimeter focal length.
2,000 millimeter focal length, yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't a 2-meter.
I was going to say, my God, that's a big mirror.
I'll tell you right now which one it was.
Eric is saying that the battery test has begun.
Oh no, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I'm just
6188. NGC 6188. Yeah. Fighting dragons.
Yeah, that's going to be coming. And let's see. We only have 10 credits left. And the telescope network is Australia, no. Chile. Chai 2. Let's see. It is a corrected Dalkirkin 24 f6.5 and more info. Hold on a second. 61 centimeter telescope. So that's what? 20 inch? 24 inch? Oh, it's 24. 24 inch telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a big mirror.
Yeah, it's focal length is 3962. That's a 24-inch scope, a CDK.
Yeah, that's a big freaking mirror.
Yep. It's got FLI ProLine 9000 camera on it. So.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. So we got a good deal on it. So we got I think 7 hours of data for less than $400. So that's not bad.
Yeah. Yep. So Eric is saying that the battery regulator shows I should have 48 hours of runtime. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait on in the fall for our third project, we're gonna do the dragons. We're gonna do the dragons. We want the dragons. We wanted to do it last year, but we got a hard time. But our next project is going to be working in conjunction with iTelescope. So I already have a contact. I spoke to Dr. Sass over at iTelescope, and it seems like starting May 1st, we are going to be taking donations to PayPal at astroworldweb.com. And so start bringing in the money, guys. The more money we got, the more data. All the money goes to data acquisition. Not 1 cent goes to anything else.
Yep.
So I put receipts up there. I put PayPal statements up there. I put everything up there. I take the names off, redact the names, redact the emails, but just to show the pure transparency that we have. Um,
Yep.
so anyway, it's
Kind of
nine
like
thirty
kind of like what
four.
we're doing with the shirts, with the AstroWorld shirts, with the monogram logos,
Yep.
and and we are going to be taking advanced orders on
Oh
that
yeah.
as well.
Good. Yep.
So we've got a supplier right now that will that we can do really very nice shirts. I'll have probably some examples in next week's show. But they're like a two-tone shirt, you know. So it's a base color in the most of the shirt, and then under the arms,
Yeah.
it
It's like a
has
reddish or
a contrasting color.
yeah.
And when with a the purchase of at least 24 shirts or hats or whatever, we get two embroidered logos.
Yep.
So we'll have the AstroWorld logo here, and then we'll have to figure out either something on the sleeve or maybe something on the back, like the phases of the moon,
Mm-hmm.
maybe embroidered on the back, something along those lines. So we're still working it
You know.
out, but we need the advance orders to put it in. So, and I think that right now that works out to be about 13 shirts that we
You
need
know what
for
I'd like to
advance
do
orders.
is maybe we could have the Astroworld logo here, and
Hmm.
maybe all the members that are in
Mm.
Astroworld down the
Hmm.
sleeve.
Yeah,
So you could
that's not a
have
bad idea.
Astro Playground, Astro with Eric, Lazy Astronomer,
Hmm.
right down the list of who's
Yep.
involved in Astroworld, and I
Yeah,
think that
that's
might
a
be
great
good. I was
idea.
thinking about that the other
Yeah.
day.
Yep. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah. So, and if
Yep.
anybody out there that wants to join Astroworld, you know, as far as, you know, kind of collaboration with videos or anything like that, you know, Scott has his own channel at Astro Playground. I run Astroworld overall. Eric's got his at Astro with
With
Eric.
Eric.
It said at Eric last time. Astro with Eric. Um, and uh, and Jason's got the Lazy Astronomer. So I mean, check out all those channels. You'll see some of their videos all on Astroworld, but they all have their own individual channel as well. But we kind of collaborate together
Yep.
and kind of work together to get the more that we can get it out there, the better it is, hopefully, for everyone, as long as our information is relevant and correct. so,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we try and get everything taken together.
Yep. Yeah, and I tell people all the time, if you see something that I'm doing that's goofy, you know, it's probably to be expected. Um,
Well,
you
we can
know,
start
but
with that shirt.
oh well, come on now. How can you not love Ghostbusters?
This is a dress down night.
Uh,
We didn't have our Astroworld shirts on tonight, you know, so I just gotta.
I'm still waiting for the new logo version.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too. I'm gonna start using the old shirt for like bum around shirts, you know.
There you go.
But the Astroworld
Yeah.
Astronomy Club. There you go. You go, Astro.
Mhm.
Eric came up with the
Mhm.
new title. The Astroworld
Yep.
Astronomy Club. Our
That
tagline
works.
is, see, what the tagline that I have right now is an astrophotography collaboration that spans the globe, or spanning the globe. But
Yeah, because we've got people all over we've
yep,
got people in New Zealand, people in England, people here,
yep,
you know, all over this country. Yeah,
yep. And I would
that's the
love
whole
to get
point.
Tim's involved, or Tim wants to get back involved. Tim Cowell, who runs the Backyard Astro Imaging Club on Facebook. So
Hmm.
and he just picked up Amy Little as a moderator on his long
Nice.
list of moderators. So that's he's doing a great job with that. I'm glad he's feeling better because it was kind of he's been putting it on Facebook, so it's not a secret. But he's been going through some health issues, and
Yeah.
we wish him well, and hope he
Yep.
gets better and
Yep.
gets
Yep.
back on the imaging trail. and his EQHR
absolutely.
or whatever. But that being said, it's 9:40. I got to eat dinner because I didn't even get a chance to eat dinner yet, and it's 9:30, and I want to see what the clouds are doing. So, that being said, unless you got something you want to close this out, we're good.
I think we're good, man. We're good.
All right, guys.
Just,
So have a good night. Take care, and thank you
skies.
for watching. I'm sorry that it was a bumpy road in the beginning, but we will get better at this. So thank you so much. Have a good night, and as always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you Wednesday night on AstroWorld.
Yep, Wednesday.
Have a good night.
Bye for now.